You may remember this story where the UPS driver and the innocent bystander were taken out while the cops were getting their man. Okay, but these cops have been indicted. And this is the story. There's 3 of the 4 cops that were indicted. And the story reads, 4 Miami Dade Police Department officers turned themselves in after being indicted in 2019 Miramar shootout that killed UPS driver. Okay. And this is June 15th, 2024. Okay. 4 Miami Dade officers involved in the 2019 police shootout with robbery suspects in Miramar, which left an innocent UPS driver and bystander dead, reportedly turned themselves in after being indicted. Richard Santillanes-Ban, Rodolfo Mirabel, Jose Mateo, and Leslie Lee have all been charged in an incident dated December 5th, 2019, the same date of the shooting, according to Broward County Clerk's Court website. Okay. The charges facing the men also correspond to information provided by a source who said 3 officers would face 1 count of manslaughter and the 4th would face 2 counts of manslaughter. Uh-oh. So the 4th, okay. Sebastian Mateo and Lee face 1 manslaughter charge each. Mirabel faces 2. After allegedly causing the deaths of both the UPS driver and the innocent driver of a nearby car. Okay. Mirabel. Miami-Dade Police Benevolent Association President Stedman Stahl told NBC6 on Saturday that all 4 officers turned themselves in Friday and have since been released. He also mentioned that he's disappointed with the indictment and noted that the PBA will provide lawyers to support the officers. Of course. It's going to have a chilling effect, Stahl said. The police officers are not the ones who should be held responsible for this. Well, they did the deed and they've been charged, and we'll let the chips fall where they fall. Okay, court documents said Santillanes-Ban, Mirabel, Mateo, and Lee list the Florida Department of Law Enforcement, the organizations that files criminal charges against police officers, as the charging agency in their cases. Okay. The family's looking to blame somebody, and the blame is misguided coming from the family. I don't even really want to hear what Stahl has to say. He's an idiot, in my opinion. The documents also refer to grand jury indictment, which corresponds to Broward State Attorney's Office statement that the officers' cases would be a grand jury proceeding. Okay. The incident began in Coral Gables when police said armed robbers took a UPS driver hostage and then led officers on a pursuit to Broward. When the truck stopped in traffic at a light near Miramar Parkway and Flamingo Road, the suspects opened fire on officers. The police fired back, officials said. The UPS driver, Frank Ordonez, and an innocent bystander in his car, Richard Cutshaw, were killed in the crossfire. The entire incident was caught on camera. Relatives of Ordonez said the years since his death have felt eternal. It's been a long 4 years of suffering and waiting, more than 4 years grieving. Joe Marino, Ordonez's stepfather, said, "We miss him. We all miss him. We miss him not being around. I just hope there's justice. I really do," Ordonez's sister, Genevieve Marino, said. "We all want closure and peace. We haven't had that." Meanwhile, the Miami-Dade PBA said in a statement on June 10th, "We're extremely disappointed that after almost 5 years, these officers are finding themselves indicted for something they had. We don't really want to care. We just don't. They have been indicted. They were trigger happy that day, in my opinion. They mag dumped, and they got their man, and in the meantime, they got 2 innocent people. So they got 3 people, 1 criminal, and 2 good guys."
Was Frankfurt's Police Officer of the Year in 2022, but we looked into his employment at 4 different police departments and found a pattern of questionable behavior, yet Curtis still moved on to the next job. Now, I spoke with him over the phone, and he disputes all the allegations against him and says more facts will come out. For now, though, this is what we found.
Social services of Austin Hodges. Just make sure the daughter is okay.
Yep, she's fine. Thank you. Have a warrant?
I'm sorry?
You have a warrant? Do you have a warrant?
No.
That's illegal. Iris, you're fine. That is illegal. Excuse me, you cannot force your way into my home.
That was Frankfurt Police Detective Gus Curtis on a welfare check last summer.
You are not legally. This is illegal. Get the fuck out of my house. This is illegal. You just, excuse me.
It's illegal. Follow civil lawsuits.
No.
Just 2 weeks earlier, he was conducting his own investigation in another county. That's him on the phone.
Tom, I'm a little upset that you had lied to me. You must have forgot what I did for a living.
Curtis asked another department, Nicholasville Police, to go to a man's house outside of Curtis's Frankfort jurisdiction to help in a case he was supposedly working. That's what he told the officer.
He is part of a criminal investigation. He needs to be identified.
Okay.
I am not part of it. It's a civil matter.
The man was right. There was no criminal investigation. This was a personal matter over a boat repair. But listen, Curtis tells the man to pay up or possibly go to jail.
So here's your two options. You give Mr. Boston $525, or you cut a check tomorrow by 5 o'clock of $525, or I'm going to Mercer County Courthouse first thing Monday and I'm getting a warrant for you.
Even the Nicholasville police officer appeared uncomfortable about what he witnessed.
I don't know why he thought he could just intimidate me like that.
I don't disagree with you.
Detective Curtis jumped from department to department. He went from Georgetown Police to Wilmore to Frankfort Police before ending up at the Boyle County Sheriff's Office, where he was fired. We started looking into him after a lawsuit filed by Kimberly Myers, the mother at the beginning of this story. Remember, she questioned how he could barge into her home without a warrant.
I said to him, this is illegal. This is illegal repeatedly. He says to me, if it's illegal, file a civil lawsuit. So here we are.
We looked through hours and hours of body cam video and pages of documents and found Curtis has an alleged history of conducting his own investigations without informing supervisors and forcing entry into homes without a warrant. This case, it resulted in dismissed charges and strong words from the judge.
Mr. Curtis had zero respect for the Constitution, for which he took an oath and swore to uphold. And quite frankly, I was appalled. I've never seen a video like that.
I was crying. I felt seen, validated. I was afraid that it was going to continue to be just ignored and swept under.
Looking into his Frankfort personnel file, we couldn't find any documentation of an internal investigation into those two incidents from last summer. In fact, Curtis resigned in August and he was later hired by the Boyle County Sheriff's Department. So how was he able to hop from one agency to another?
To go from one agency to the next, it just has to be a lack of accountability on the police department's part.
By law, Kentucky police departments are required to report officers to the Kentucky Law Enforcement Council who were fired or resigned while under investigation for fireable offenses. It can revoke an officer's certification. We checked. KLEC never got a referral from Frankfort Police, but did get one from the Boyle County Sheriff's Office. In a statement, KLEC said the referral indicated that Curtis had been terminated while under criminal and administrative investigation. I asked the Frankfort chief why they wouldn't have referred Curtis to KLEC. Due to pending litigation, he couldn't answer any of my questions about Gus Curtis.
They should absolutely have to answer as to why he was able to resign with all the issues he had in Frankfort that went uncorrected.
This isn't the first time Curtis has been sued over alleged unlawful entry. In 2018, a lawsuit alleged that he unlawfully entered two people's home before arresting both without any probable cause. That lawsuit appears to have been settled in 2021. Frankfort PD ended up promoting Curtis and made him Officer of the Year in 2022.
There's just such a substantial similarity. And to settle that suit and not have safeguards in place that it wouldn't occur again, that's frightening.
Everybody deserves to be safe in their own homes. Everybody deserves to be safe when dealing with police officers, that they're not going to intimidate, that they're not going to do something wrong and nothing be done about it, that there's nobody that's holding them accountable.
Now, the attorney representing Curtis in Meyer's lawsuit is waiting for the legal process to unfold, but in an email says in part, the complaint only presents one view and doesn't accurately reflect all the fact of the case, and adds the video also has a limited perspective and doesn't tell the whole story. Therefore, we will continue to put forth our client's side of the story within the constraints of the law itself. Further comments on pending litigation will be made in court as the legal process unfolds, end quote. Now, we still have lots of questions. Should Frankfort police have turned over Curtis's file to KLEC? I've spoken to other police agencies, other police chiefs, and they say yes. We will have a lot more on the story, and we're going to try to get those other questions
Well, that was
answered.
old Gus Curtis. Imagine that, Gus. That's so funny. That's the kind of name you give your jackass. I mean, if you have a donkey out in the field, you name it Gus, right? Who in the world? Okay, never mind. That guy had cornrows too, and that's even funnier. But listen, let's wrap up the Bad Apple Report earlier today. You guys wouldn't believe how much trouble I've had getting shows through. I've got a couple of them just lined up right now. So even this one, just because of a little scuffling, I'll get the red exclamation point. You guys are awesome for being here. I appreciate it. And I will get you another bunch of bad apples ready to go for tomorrow morning, bright and early, 7:30 a.m.